Hello again and welcome to Ndudu by Fafa. So before we start, I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone that has subscribed, my notification gang. I appreciate each and every one of you. Today we're making Kelewele coco. Okay, what does coco mean? Coco means porridge in Ghana, but it also means it's easy. Exactly, and porridge should be easy. Anyway, inspired by the Ghanaian famous snack known as Kelewele, which is a spiced plantain snack, absolutely delicious, I've made a porridge version. Exactly. Now, when it comes to plantain, I think I've tried the green plantain porridge. I've also tried the Kelewele muffin. Yes, absolutely. And these are all recipes that are available here on this channel. So if I haven't given you that reason to subscribe, I hope I have done so now. Bearing in mind, this is gluten-free and also sugar-free. Exactly. Let's start. So here I do have my 3 shades of plantain, the overly ripened, the overly ripened, and the over-ripened plantain. Yes, I made all those up, but you can just tell from the shades, they're just gorgeous. And at this stage, the sugar content of the plantain has increased, so that's why you do not need any sugar for this recipe. Next thing, let's talk about spices. So I'll be using some black peppercorns here, which would give it that sort of aromatic and also residual heat, which is incredible. Now, if you don't have the calabash nutmeg, you can use your allspice, but just use it sparingly because allspice is quite strong in flavor and it's similar in its base tone to nutmeg anyway. Next thing, I'll be using my cloves, and yes, you've seen some dried red chili there. You don't need too much because of course everything here is a bit on the spicy side, so you just need that residual heat. And of course I need my ginger, which will settle my tummy. Exactly. So now let's do some peeling. Hello again and welcome to my creative African cooking channel, Ndudu by Fafa. Ndudu by Fafa. Koba Ndudu and Yukwelu Fafa. Come on, Ndudu and blow Fafa. I love the flavours. Ulama bala. Ndudu Vivi Hey, so now the third plantain, which is over-ripened, yes, the one that I described, over-ripened. I'm going to be using it in making, may I say plantain croutons or may I say plantain popcorn? Leave your comments below as to what is befitting of its description. Anyway, as you can tell, I did cut it lengthways and then into 3 different sections. And of course, just like, just cut into these beautiful cubes. Exactly. So I'm going to repeat that. And then the next thing I'm going to do is add my salt and also my cornstarch. Exactly. The reason is, of course, the plantain is definitely over-ripened, so it's a bit on the softer side. So if I do fry it directly, it's going to absorb the oil and I don't want that. So I need to create a barrier that would also form that beautiful crust on the outer layer, but also form this beautiful moist plantain in the middle, which is also nice and sweet. To your saucepan, add your preferred oil and place it on a medium heat. Here I've added 3 thinly sliced ginger pieces as well as star anise, and that would flavor the oil. After about 5 to 6 minutes of the oil heating up, I carefully drop my plantain croutons in. Now for the first 5 minutes of the cooking time, do not interrupt. The reason is because you want that coating to stay. So after the 5 minutes, you can just tell that the plantain has risen to the surface, as you can see here, and that is the time that you can now stir it. At this point, all I need is for this crouton, or may I say popcorn, but then it's not popping, but it might pop in your mouth. Or did I just say that? Anyway, Yes, and we just need some color to this, and it's going to be incredible. So I've got another 5 minutes of this frying to go through. Now, for a healthier version, you can spray a little bit of oil on the surface and just bake this. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I'm just doing it, the sort of like paying homage to the Kelewele. Now, if you've never tried Kelewele, I'll leave a link in the description box below so that you can try it. It's an incredible Ghanaian snack that you do not want to miss out on. At this point, I've got about a minute to then take the plantain croutons out of the oil. But of course, I had to take my thinly sliced ginger pieces because they're just incredible to bite into. They're crunchy and they give you that gingery flavor. Anyway, so now I've also taken the star anise, as you saw earlier, and I'm just going to strain this. So, of course, I'm taking this, and I've got my colander, which I've also got a kitchen napkin underneath it so it can absorb any excess oil. As I mentioned, you can bake this exactly for a healthier version. So now that we've got the croutons out of the way, now let's go back to the pièce de résistance itself, which is the overly ripened plantain and the overly ripened plantain. Here they are, and to that I'm going to add my black peppercorns. Exactly. So all the ingredients that I mentioned earlier, they're all going to be added to this. The next thing, what am I adding here? I added my red chili, and you notice I've only added one. But of course, you can increase the amount, or you can omit it if that's what you want. And I'm adding a little bit of cloves. So I think I got about 3 clove pieces in there. My ginger is definitely representing. I'm just adding a little bit of water, and I'm just going to blend this until it's nice and silky smooth. As you can see in the background there's something dry, and the test kitchen is definitely live. Yes, absolutely. So now I've blended that into that beautiful silky consistency. Look at that. Exactly. Now, this is the third time that I've attempted this recipe. The first time was like, wow, it worked. The second time, I was overly ambitious and it didn't work. But then the third one, it's always a charm, and it definitely worked. So it comes down to the water content, which is very important. So when you, let's say you don't have any measurements or measuring cup, you've got to use the Mama Africa, your eyes and your heart and your soul to make this. So just add enough water, just a little, enough water that would allow you to blend your mixture into this beautiful thick consistency. And then what I tend to do is just cook it on that very low heat, because you're just wondering what's going to happen. I think the first time when I did it, I was like, oh, is it going to be lumpy? Has it got that potential of doing so? One thing I realized that it didn't. Anyway, so now I've rinsed the blender, exactly, because there's no waste in my kitchen, and this is warming up and it's thick. So now I can regulate the amount of water that I add to this, and this is just incredible. Look at that. Now, ideally, if I did not add these spices, this would look more yellowish in its color. But because, of course, I've added the cloves, the black peppercorns, the allspice, which, of course, you can use the calabash nutmeg, it would give you this sort of Tom Brown-like color. Now, the flavor here is similar to Hausa cocoa, which is the spiced millet porridge that is popular in Ghana. And I was just thinking, I was like, ooh, I mean, I've seen the ripened plantain porridge, but it's made for like babies, and others would cook the plantain and then blend it. But I was just like, nah, let me try it this way and see. So now I'm testing to see if this is cooked. And look, I like the consistency because it sticks to the back of the spoon. Silky smooth. So remember I said I tried this recipe on 3 occasions. So the second occasion, when I blended it, I added too much water. And as you can just tell, it was a runny consistency. And that resulted in the porridge being, of course, very light. So obviously, to avoid that happening, you need to follow this instruction. I mean, naturally, I'd leave the list of ingredients, including the measurements, on my blog, Ndudu by Fafa.blogspot.com. But here we have in that pièce de resistance. It's silky, it's spicy, it's sweet. You don't need to add any sugar. It's packed with all the nutrients that one needs. Yes, especially potassium and iron. Yes. And of course, it's gluten-free. This is not any other food. This is Ndudu by Fafa. Notification gang, what say you? Loyal subscribers, the love is deep. I appreciate each and every one of you. Now let's serve this absolutely. Ndudu by Fafa. Miawezulu, Ndudu by Fafa. Koba Ndudu and Yukwelu. Fafa, come on, Ndudu, and blow Fafa. I love the flavours are all in my bala. Ndudu Vivi, Dr. Mitu. Hey, Abonka. Thank you very much for watching this episode, and I hope you are inspired to try this recipe. So if you've got your overly ripened plantain, you know exactly what to do. Naturally, I'd leave the list of ingredients and measurements on my blog ndudubyfafa.blogspot.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat as Ndudu by Fafa. So pass by and say hi. Noel, thank you very much for my theme song, and I'll see you all in the premiere. Yes. Me love you, for you gorgeous kings and queens. Toodles, see you later.